Hi everybody, welcome to my new video on acrylic pours by Michelle. Here are the colors, the paints I used in this pour. Actually, this is a pretty long video because I did 4 small paintings. Here's the paints I used: Deco Art Pewter, Liquitex Dioxazine Purple, Artist Lab Old Gold, Amsterdam Ultramarine Violet, Deco Art Champagne Gold, one of my favorites, Liquitex Phthalocyanine Blue, Liquitex Silver, and Arteza Cerulean Blue. I like blues and purples, so I said, hey, let's just put my favorite colors together and see how it turns out. Here we go. So I'm gonna do 4 not Dutch pours, ring pours. So I sped up layering my cups here. So these are 8x8 canvases. So I just did, for these first 2 little Dixie cups, they are 3 ounces each. So I'm just doing 1 layer since I have 8 colors. Yep. And then here we go. I did a couple different kind of ring pour techniques. This first one, you'll see I just did a circle in the middle, so you can see all the rings coming through as the different colors show up. This one was really heavy, I think, on that champagne gold right away. Then you can see the purples coming through. And got to get all that paint out since this is a little less paint than I probably would have preferred to have. I just didn't want to use a bigger cup. So tilt it to get, oh, it's moving pretty slow. I didn't put any flow extender base paint on. That might have helped. Actually, I think this one, it's that pewter that was at the bottom as the first color that really got dominant. So I probably put too much of that in, and the metallics are always heavier. I really tried to thin them out so they kind of came out even. And this one wasn't too clumpy, so I think I did a pretty good job. But yeah, with all that paint, it moves kind of slow, so I was just trying to move it around. The thing I find with, I don't really get great definition of rings when I just do a circle in the middle, so it's not my favorite, but I wanted to see how the same color paints turned out with the same canvases and slightly different techniques, because even if you do the same technique, the same paints, it's going to look different. So this one, I was kind of trying to get the kind of stretch it out. I always find these get pretty zigzaggy. I think it's because the weight of the paint kind of gets shifted to one section, and then that just pulls everything forward. Lots of tilting on this one to get something I liked. And not super circular rings after a while. Tipping off a lot of paint here. Notice how my puppy pad is pretty clean now. Gotta cover up those sides, the corners that didn't get paint on them. After a bunch of pours, this background is going to be pretty messy. I thought I'd just speed this part up. It's not as exciting, but just showing what you do. Always torch. This one wasn't very bubbly. I let the paint set a little bit before I poured it, so I didn't have a lot of bubbles to pop. All right, reposition, and let's go for this other one. That paint had a little time to set. I don't think that made a bit of a difference, but this one, kind of clumped out there at first. Decided I like a traveling ring pour to get better lines across the canvas. I think I just like how that looks better. And I like how that silver mixed with the blue to make kind of a light blue. And you gotta think about how you're gonna tilt it and where the paint should go. Stretching it out. These always look like, I think they look like ring planets or the rings of planets. I like space. And these are pretty slow. And you gotta bring the paint back to the middle. Gotta get it to that bottom corner. And then because the weight of the paint gets centered, kind of gets that stretched out zigzag. So the lines don't stay super equal. But I tried to bring it back towards the center. And I like the purple section. This one turned out pretty nice. So I think side by side you can see the difference between how my center ring pour turned out versus a traveling ring pour from one corner to the other. Always gotta pick up paint to touch up those sides. So this is not a level 3 canvas, so I didn't really care that much about the sides being perfect, just painted. There's my hair again. And woo, I sped this up. This is the next two canvases. I think I started the layers in the middle to get some differences, but I kept the order the same. I'm sorry, my phone didn't get centered quite the same. All right, now pouring this one. Yes, this one I do kind of a U-shape traveling pour to get a different look. And since I didn't repeat the colors, the top and the bottom or the start and the finish paints are very different, which kind of ends up looking interesting. So really stretching, gotta get that paint out. Ta-da. And then you gotta bring the paint together so it starts moving together. Zoop, back and forth. I always hate it when you're pretty, your favorite parts are on the edge. You just gotta go. It's not a big blue and silver section that I didn't think was that exciting. So lots of tilting. You never know what it's gonna look like. These paints move around and on top of each other. Get rid of the gold clump. And then look at how that top turned out. The purple, the gold, the blues kind of look like a river delta. I have to do more of these U-shape ring pours. I think they're cool. And ooh, showing that off, inspecting it. Yeah, it's not really moving. Trying to move it a little more, and there's no paint left to move. And I'm gonna torch, not any bubbles though. Thumbs up, another thumbs up into the camera. I liked that one. And there's a little close up. Can't even see the cells there showing up at the top, even though there's no silicone in that. I think just the way the paints moved on top of each other. Got some cells. And then this one, I had a lot of paint left, so that's my bigger cup. I think that's a 7-ounce paper cup. I decided to magically, quickly reorder the paints to get a different effect. Da 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 da, like a shell game. Blue, gold, other blue, other gold, light purple, silver, dark purple, and then I repeated it. I think I took out the pewter. I didn't think I needed another blue, and that one was kind of, I think, dominating some of my pores. So I didn't fill that up because I did not need 7 ounces of paint. So let's see how this goes. There's just a lot of paint to pour. And then I did the diagonal traveling ring pour with this one too. I think it's just a better way to get the paint distributed. Lots of silver and purple. And right here, I realized why you don't put gold next to blue. It makes green, which wasn't really a color I wanted with purple. But see, I pointed out right there, whoops, green. But I have a lot of paint to deal with. So it's possible it will disappear when I stretch it. But this was a lot of paint and it was heavy. Not like heavy, but to balance it. And then my fingers stuck to the tape on the back. But it's kind of cool. Get that gold off. Gold and green. See, I like purple, so all of mine will be purple dominant if possible. More tilting, more bringing the paints back, trying to keep those lines straight, but that's the best I can do. So that's kind of an interesting one. Yeah, that big clump of gold in the middle, I want to get rid of that. Or actually in that bottom corner. So see how messy my puppy potty pad is. Lots of dropped paint off of this. I did do some paper dips with some of that excess paint that I can use for like crafting greeting cards. Wipe my hands off, torch, and then scrape the sides. Actually used a popsicle stick that time. So here's a little close-up how that one looks. And then I put it on my shelf and then scrape the drips of this one. And a little quick close-up there. And here's them dried. That kind of looks like the last one. I don't really know which is which of these. That's the first one, I think, with the heavy champagne gold in the top left there. Kind of like the middle of that. These dried kind of dull. That's the U-shaped ring pour. That turned out really cool. And this must be, I don't remember which one this is. They'll look better, I think, when I put polyurethane or something on them. Here's a quick view of all 4 of them next to each other. I think that's my idea, is this is like a square shaped, what's 4 pictures together called? Quad trip? Like a trip dot diptych? Quad dip? I don't know. It's a foursome. Ta-da! Let me know what you think.